Hi, welcome. My name is Hengjie. I'm the CEO co-founder of Canvas. In today's webinar, we'll be showing you how to use the recently released Canvas integration. I'll show you how to install that, how to deploy that, but also how to use Canvas in the classroom. So I'll give you a full training session on all of our features, what it's capable of, and also how to do all of this in the context of Canvas. So I'm going to move on to my screen here, and you can see that I've got my assignments view. So I'm going to show you how to install this. We have a very good help article that actually outlines all of this already. Basically, step one, make sure you have the Chrome extension installed for both teachers and students. It's really good to have these extensions installed because as we roll out updates to integration, you get it automatically, you get it right away. The second step is to go through and set up these LTI keys here. So you click on this link here, it takes you to a page on Canvas, and you can click generate to copy to generate some LTI keys. There'll be two keys that we'll use in a moment. Then the second step is installing it. So there are two ways to install this. If you're a teacher, you can install this as an external tool in Canvas in your classroom. If you're an administrator and you want to roll this out to all of your teachers, then that's also possible using the same LTI keys, but using a very similar way to add external apps into your domain and into your Canvas installation. So I'll show you both. As a teacher, I would basically go to Settings, go to Apps. Under External Apps, click on View App Configurations. And you can see that Canvas is actually already installed here, but I'll go through the motions of it. I click on Add, click under Configuration Type, type URL. In this URL, I will go and copy paste this configuration to here, type in Canvas. And then the consumer key and the secret is what you copy paste from the link of keys that you just generated. So once you click on generate, you can take these keys and copy paste into here. Now, I'm not going to do that because I've already done it in the past, but you would click submit and that would now be added in as an external tool. We do have a View and App Center app that's coming, that's on its way, but it's not available at the time of this webinar. The second way to do it is if you're an admin, you can go to your admin interface, go to Settings, like so, go to Apps, go to View App Configurations, and you can see Canvas is already added, but I would go click on Add, paste in by URL, do the same thing that I just showed you in the past. So copy pasting this in, typing in Canvas, clicking Submit, and then that should show up here. Now, what you get as an external tool is the ability to be able to push out Canvas assignments from Canvas itself and push it out, fan it out to all your kids. They will also get a turn in button, so it means that they can easily go and as they finish working on the document, turn in straight within the document file, and it turns that file and it works straight into you. You get a notification about it, and you can then go and use the Canvas speed grader to go through and grade and provide feedback. So I'll show you that right now. So as a teacher, I'm going to go to my class, my English class, click on the assignments, create a new assignment. So I'll go and add webinar, org 2019. I'll add a blurb. And once I scroll down to external tools, I can click on find, and Canvas Google Drive assignment will show up here. When you click on it for the first time, it will ask you to sign in or sign up if you haven't done that already in the main Canvas app. But then we'll load the Google Drive documents view so that you can select a file to send out to all your kids. Just bear in mind that Canvas Canvas integration requires two things. One, that you be on a paid version of Canvas. The second thing is that you use Google Drive to organize all your documents and share your documents with your kids. All of that Google Drive integration component is automatic. It happens behind the scenes. You can leverage it to jump into a file before it's turned in, and I'll show you that afterwards. So let me select a drive file here. So now that that's done, I click select. We highly recommend you to load this external resource in a new tab for both your students and yourself, primarily because you don't want to be constrained to a very small view window for Canvas to embed itself in. So now that I've done that, I click on Save and Publish. Sometimes we get a lot of questions around group assignments. Canvas native group assignments is coming, but there is an additional workaround that you can use, and we'll show you that later. So I can click on Save and Publish. That publishes it to my kids. I can also use a speed grader here to grade it after the fact, using being able to really quickly cycle through it. So as a student now, I've switched my student account. Let me go to course. Let me go and hit Mr. Wang's English class. Assignments. And you can see that the assignment that I just created has now been pushed out to me as a student. All I have to do is click on Load Cami Document, and this brings up Cami. It takes 1 or 2 minutes because I'm loading this for the first time. And you can see the file has now loaded here. I have a great set of annotation tools on the right-hand side that I can use. Let me just enlarge that a little bit. And these tools allow you to use Cami on all subjects, all grade levels, and with all the integrations that you see. So for instance, we have the turn in button here. So I'll show you the turn-in integration quickly. So let me just highlight the entire page. In fact, let me highlight something maybe a little bit less than that. So let me just highlight this and turn in. So the beauty of this turn in button is it's integrated into Cami. You don't have to remember to know what file that you're accessing. All of this is sort of done behind the scenes. So now that I've submitted this file as a student, I can no longer edit this file. So if I try and make an additional annotation, it says that the document has already been turned in, and the only way for me to make edits is to unsubmit this file. And this submission and unsubmission, that will actually be sent to the teacher, the action that you're taking as a student. So you know when someone submitted it and may have unsubmitted it to maybe add additional content to it after that deadline. So as a teacher, what I would do is go into SpeedGrader. Oops. Let me go to SpeedGrader here for this assignment. And you can see that Cami automatically loads into the SpeedGrader view. And you can see that as a teacher, I can hover over this highlight that I've just made in green. And as I'm hovering over it, it saves S. So S, because my student name on my account was student. In the bottom right-hand side, you can see the 2 collaborators that are on this document, but also the green dot there to show that these users are online. So you can share your annotations with other people in real time. So that's an extremely powerful feature with Cami, and allows for things like group collaboration or being able to give feedback and monitor what the students are working on as a teacher. So I can also give a grade and submit a comment here once I'm done with that. But since I want to show you some of the other features available to you in Cami, I'm going to switch you back to my student account, unsubmit this file, and go through all the annotation features. So Cami has a bunch of really cool annotation features. I'm going to show you the ones that are applicable for English first, and then move to some of the other subjects like math and science, and also special education. So we have a great select text spool. We have other kinds of selection options available, so you can use the hand tool. You can use that to sort of drag and pan around the file. But the next tool is a dictionary tool. So the dictionary tool allows you to quickly click on anywhere on the page and it'll bring out the Oxford Dictionary definition of this word. This is really great. It is a kid-friendly dictionary, and we will also have other languages supported in this dictionary coming down the line. You can actually use this, and we will show this in the following webinar tomorrow about how to use Canvas with ELA. You can actually use Canvas in conjunction with the Google Dictionary extension, and it gives you a lot more functionality that we currently don't have in our dictionary. We also have a text-to-speech tool, so this is really good, it's really powerful. It means I can go and scroll down to, say, this closed reading exercise that I've got, and I can click on read page, or I can skip to the next sentence, or even loop my sentence again and again and again. So the other option I can do is also click on anywhere on this document, and it will start reading out loud that sentence and continue to read. So let me just do that, and you can hear it.
It was in the clove of seasons, summer was dead but autumn had not yet been born, that the ibis lit in the bleeding tree.
Great. So I've paused it. You can hit spacebars to stop as well. We have different voices and options that's available. So here it's whatever's installed on by default on Google Chrome. We do have other kinds of voices like the Chrome Australian voice, and which kids always love because it's spoken out loud to them in a weird accent. We also have the ability for you to tweak the speed at which you want to read it at. So I can dial this all the way down, click on here again, and we'll start reading out loud.
It was in the clove of seasons.
And as you probably just noticed, it speaks in a much slower tone and pace. We also have great markup tools. So it's a great way if you're ELA to interact with the text, to have your kids engage with the text. So for instance, here I'm trying to answer the question of what is the setting of the story? So as I'm reading through it, I can choose my color. So I'm going to choose green here, use this text highlighter, and simply highlight all the different places that I think might signify the location of which the story is set in. So maybe graveyard flowers, there's something about a house and a cotton field, every room in our house, and that's it. I also have a different highlighter option here, so I can actually drag a box across this entire page. This is great for highlighting diagrams or non-text content, but let me go and click undo here to remove that. I also have strike-through options, so great for redlining, grading, so I can just do it like so, and even underline. So I can use this tool to underline any bit of text on this document. We also have a text tool, so I'll show you the comment tool in a second, but we also have a text tool because I'm really eager to answer this question, and I want to answer it right. So let me now go and use this text tool, select my color, select my font size. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you guys. And I can click on anywhere on this page. I can drag out a box, but this box can also automatically expand. So if you just had a box and started typing, it'll expand to the very end. You can press enter to hit a new line. It's very easy to use. So the story setting here is a house that's near the cotton fields. Now you can see here a bar has popped up as I've been typing. It gives me different options, so I can go and change the font of this. Where is something maybe a little bit funky? This sounds like a cool font. I can also change the font size, make it bold, italicized, change the color of the text to my favorite color, orange. But also I can even change the background. So if I want to be a little bit more bold with how I select my colors. I'm sure as a teacher you tell your kids never to do any of this. So, but these options are available. We call these rich text formatting options, and you can keep playing with them. There's a ton of different options that's available. So you can make lists, you can add formulas into it, you can even add emojis. One very cool feature that's worth mentioning is voice typing. So anywhere there's a text box in Cami, anywhere there is a microphone icon, you can click on it and start typing by dictating what you say. So I can just start talking. like so, and it's dictated. So it's very quick, it's very easy. It uses the best-in-class technology, so it uses Google's dictation engine, which means it's basically the best that you can ever use, you can ever get. So that is our text tool. It's very powerful for answering any form of textualized questions. Now I want to show you the comments tool. So we're moving back up to the comments tool here. The comments tool has 4 different kinds of modes or comments that you can make. All of these comments are made on the margin only. So we have the text comment, which is pretty self-explanatory. You can highlight some text, or you can click on anywhere on the document and simply leave a comment this way. So here on the right-hand side, you can see a comment box has popped up. You can also see a microphone icon, so I can also click on this and start dictating what I want to say. Let me go and correct some of that I want to say. I also have the ability to be able to add replies to this. So this is great for student feedback, but also group collaboration work. I can also move this icon around. We have also voice annotation, video annotation, and screen capture. So I'll show you all 3 right now. So with voice, very similar to what we just did with text, but you can record your voice for up to 5 minutes. This is extremely powerful because it allows you to take this document, bring it to life, make it a lot more engaging and interactive. And we have teachers and kids using this to answer questions in language classes in a different language without having to go and type it out. So if you're practicing how to pronounce something, if you're trying to pronounce explain your answer in a different language, this is really, really powerful. Video annotation. So clicking anywhere on this document, you can see I can go and record this down here as a video. It's also 5 minutes, different kinds of use cases. So text for kids that like to sign out the answer, this could be a really good way to do that. It's also a 5-minute limit, It just allows you to easily chunk up the information so you don't spend too long trying to seek out the answer and try and see what they're saying. I can also pause this as well as resume the recording. And we have teachers all across different subjects, especially science subjects, showcasing how students might be doing experiments. So extremely powerful. We have a screen capture tool. So it allows you to capture the entire screen, everything you're doing. It's really powerful for cases like math and science where you're trying to showcase the work, how you do it, and the steps of doing the workings. It also records the video at the same time. And the other powerful thing is I can go to somewhere else, like I can go to Google Drive, and that would also get recorded in the screen share. Sorry, in the screen recording. Once I'm done saving, it plays as a picture-in-picture. Let me just mute this, but it will record the audio as well. And I can also make that full screen. Great. So these comment tools are extremely valuable, extremely powerful. It really brings documents to life. The other feature I want to show you is the equation tool. So being able to go and anywhere on a document and write an equation could be really powerful. So I'm going to make my font size, ramp it up, make it really big, and show you how I would answer maybe some of these questions. So A equals pi, so I think pi is not something I can type, but I do have an insert symbols palette here, so I can go and find pi and enter that in, R, and using the keyboard exponents, go and bring me up to the next level and type 2 for pi squared. I do have a full scientific calculator palette here that's available. So it's not just applicable for math, but it's also applicable for chemistry, for different kinds of different science or physics, even music symbols available at the bottom. So it's really powerful and really flexible. These formulas that we're typing, they are context aware, so it means that I can easily do all this on a keyboard, but also let's say we use something like a division. It will automatically take you down to the denominator, but also let me find something else. So let me use a square root. You can see that there are gray fillable boxes here that you can go and punch in your numbers. So I can type in 2 square root of 9, and I don't know what sort of formula I'm trying to put together, but it is a pretty funky formula that I don't think does a square. It gives you a square divided by x. We don't know what x is, and somehow we multiply by 3. Other great tools. So we have a drawing tool, we have shapes, and we have eraser. So I'm going to show you these sorts of things. What I have available here with our drawing tool is one of the best in class stylus applications that you can use, drawing applications you can use. It's extremely fast. It's designed for low-powered Chromebook devices, and it's even designed for devices that have a built-in stylus or EMR stylus. So if I tap it, you can see that a stylus has been detected, and it means that I can go and now use my finger and pan around this document. Previously, if you didn't tap a stylus into it, so if you don't have a stylus at home but still have a touchscreen, you can draw using your finger, but if you wanted to pan or if you wanted to zoom in and out, you would have to use 2 fingers here. But with a stylus, now I can just pan around using just my finger. So drawing, now that I've zoomed in, I can also write out my, my answer. So for 1 inch, area equals pi r squared equals pi. R here is 1, and then squared is here. I can draw that out. I can also use this to decrease the size of what I draw, so you can see a much, much finer tip here. I can change my color, so if I wanted something purple, like the cami color, I can use that and draw things out. Now, what if I wanted to draw something like a straight line? Well, we have a shapes tool and a lines tool built into it. So I can simply just drag and a line has been made. One of the coolest things about it is if I press shift and drag this line out, you can see it locks to every 15 degrees. And this is great for things like geometry. We do have a protractor-like feature of this coming on the way. We also have the ability to be able to add perfect circles and add any kind of circles. So we can add a non-perfect circle. But if I press shift, you can see it pops out and it gives you a perfect circle. And you can see that there are guidelines available here to guide how you want to draw the circle out. So for depending on your diameter or radius. For this case, I'm trying to draw a intersecting line that's coming off of the circle. And one of the things I can do as I hover over it is there are a bunch of options across all these different kinds of shapes. So I can add an arrow to one end of it. I can make the line dotted. I can even change the color of it after the fact. The same with squares. So I can drag a box or a square. If I press shift, it gives me a perfect regular square. There are blue dots here that I can go and manipulate this to a different kind of shape. And one of the things that's favorite for a lot of math teachers is being able to drag a box out. So let me show you. Drag a box out, but that's filled up with something in the middle. And you can use this now, you can repurpose this as a way to hide any answers on the document. So if you're using Cami as a digital whiteboard, you can have a blank page, hide the answers, click delete once you're done, like this remove, or I can just click backspace on my keyboard and show the answers. So it's really powerful there. We have an eraser. So eraser has 2 different modes. One that erases everything on the page. The other one erases only the drawings and shapes that you made. So this could be really good if you've left a bunch of notes, but you drew a bunch of things, but you want to delete just some of the drawings that you made recently. So I can go and, as I'm moving my stylus around this page, delete all the shapes that I just made. We have a insert image tool. So this is also really powerful, especially for cases like where you want to trying to bring in different resources from outside the internet. Sorry, outside Cami. So before I add additional content there, I am running out of pages. So I'm going to click on this plus icon at the bottom of this page, and that allows me to add additional pages to the end of this document. So if you have kids that are drawing really big handwriting and you need more pages to draw or to complete work, we do have the ability to add as many pages as you want. We have different kinds of pages, line, gridded for math, even blank, even music sheets. So I'm going to use gridded pages. I'm going to add 2 pages to it. You can add, I believe, up to 99. So while we're doing that, it will save all your changes, reload the page with the new grids, and bring you back, scroll you back down to the last page, last known position that you were on this document. So now that we've got some additional white space to complete our work, we can import images from, I can show you the import image tool. So I can import images from my computer, from Google Drive, but a very new cool feature is Google Image Search. This is a safe search, so it's kid-friendly, and what I like to do here is bring in documents from maps of the world. So I can select any kind of map here. I'm going to hit select. It takes a while to load the image in, depending on how big the image is. And by clicking it, I can drop it anywhere onto this file. So in this case, I'm going to drop it here. Let me just enlarge this a little bit more. And I can even bring this edge to edge. Now, one of the cool features that we have with some of the other annotation tools is we can draw on top of this image. So let me go and use the drawing tool, make it a little bit thicker, bring in a color that might show up really well. Let me actually select yellow. And it means that I can simply draw something on top of this image, right? So that was a really poor way to represent time zones on the world map. But you get the idea. So we have an image tool. You can also insert images based on your webcam. So I click on this. It brings up a webcam. You do have to enable Flash. So in this case, because Flash is getting blocked, you do have to sort of enable that. Once it's enabled, it will allow you to take a photo from your webcam and import it into Cami. So this could be a great way to bring in sources or bring in content from somewhere else. Great. Now that that's uploaded, I can then go and drop it anywhere on the map. So since we're from New Zealand, I'm going to find New Zealand. Let me make this a little bit smaller and drag it on top of New Zealand. We also have a signature tool. So this is really powerful for permission slips, but also grading. So if you're a teacher and you're trying to you can use this as a stick pack. You can upload any kind of things onto it. So I can upload an image. I can draw an image. So I can draw hello here. I can even draw on my phone. So how this feature works is it sends a link to your phone. You can set it using email. You can type this link back in, and on your phone you'll be able to go and use the touchscreen and draw whatever you want and import it into Cami. So that could be a really powerful thing. So here I'm going to just select my signature that I want. I've double-clicked it to insert and dropped it anywhere on this page. I can even rotate this after the fact. So that's just a quick summary of all the annotation tools that we have available. One last thing I do want to show you, actually 2 last things I want to show you. The first one is the select annotation tool. So it allows you to drag a box around, select all the annotations that's relevant, and you can move these annotations around. You can change like the color, the thickness, the font sizes, Basically, all the sort of different settings that's common between these different annotations you've selected, you can go and do that. This is a great way for you to be able to copy paste things. So let's say you've drawn a star and you want to paste the star across the constellation of a map that you're doing. You can use the select annotation tool to be able to do that. The other thing I want to show you is if you're on a touchscreen device, you can move this toolbar. So one thing is make this smaller, but if you're left-handed, we can move this toolbar to the right-hand side, which means that you have less chances of accidentally tapping on different kinds of annotation tools and switching to those tools. Once I'm done, I can hit turn in. So I've already shown you this, but I'll do it again. It saves everything automatically back to Drive as you're doing all your work anyway, but it does one final save just to make sure that everything is really saved back to Drive. If you run into any errors, it will go and tell you about that. So that's now turned in, it's all submitted, it's awesome. So once it's turned in, I've mentioned this, I believe, in the past, I can no longer make additional annotations onto it. So it means that you can't add any additional work. So that's great. For a teacher, I can also go and grade this. I mentioned earlier that, let me just refresh this so that you can see. So as a teacher, I also have the ability to see all the annotations that have been made onto this document, or the video or the audio. I can reply to it by hovering to some of these comments. So I can say A+. I can even go and, I can see all the drawings and stuff. I can even see the additional pages that we've added to this document, including all the images that we've got. So that's really cool and powerful. Now, I mentioned a little bit earlier that the way all of this works is it auto saves everything to Google Drive. You use Google Drive as a way to sort of manage your storage with Cami and Canvas. So let me show you how that works. So from a teacher side, let me go to my Google Drive, click on my Cami folder. So that's usually where all of my files, all of my documents that have been generated through this Canvas integration comes from. I've got my class here, Mr. Wang's English class. And you can see Cami Webinar August 2019 V2. That's the assignment that I've been working on. All of my resources, or all of my students' documents and resources that they've been working on is listed here. And if I right click, you can see sort of what's going on in the back end. I am the owner of this file, but the student now, because they're no longer able to edit, can only view these files. From a student's perspective, so one thing I would say is this is a really good way before the students have turned in to go and monitor, double click and open up these documents in Cami to monitor what the kids are working on. So I can do that by right clicking, open with, annotate with Cami, and open this document up and monitor what the kids are working on. As a student, let me go to Google Drive. So I'm in Drive, I go into the Cami folder, going into Mr. Wang's English class. So as a student, I also have all of my resources here from the assignments. So for mixed resource, which is the document I've just been working on, that's made available here. And if I went and clicked Annotate with Cami, you can see it brings in up the same file with the same turn in button. And in this case, because I've submitted it, there's an unsubmit button here. Great. One last thing I want to show you while we're on this interface is we get this asked a lot by history teachers. If you've got kids annotating and doing research, annotating primary sources, taking notes on the side of the document, we get asked all the time, how do we produce a set of study notes for the kids? And you can do that by using the download feature and selecting annotations only. So this is a really powerful feature because it means that you take all the annotations that you have and we summarize it into just one document. So in this case, I've annotated a lot. It's going to download this file locally to my computer. Actually, I don't think this will work because this is downloading to a different Chrome profile, but you will be able to view this if you were doing this on your own computer. So that's how I would use Cami with Canvas. Now, I was talking about how do we do this if it were for a group assignment. So I mentioned that alluded to that I would show you guys how to do this. And the way to do this is you would have a class, you would store a sign out like what we did previously, but instead of, but when the students open up the assignment, so let me just quickly create an assignment, push it out to all the kids in the class. Basically, you would have a student leader, and that student leader, when they open up the file from Canvas to Cami, they need to use the upload button, upload feature, to then go and share a link to that file to all the kids. So let me go select my file, click select, open a new tab, publish and save. So now let me switch over to my student account and show you what a student would do if they were the group leader. So click on the group assignment, hit it, open a new window. And in a moment, once this file loads, there will be a share button in the top right hand corner that allows you to go and upload this document and get a link to it. So here is the share document icon. I click share document. Our internet from New Zealand's a little bit slow, not as fast as US or anywhere else in the world, so it's going to take a moment or two. Now that that's done, here you can see we get a link, and you can now share this document with all your kids in the group. And the beauty of this is they can all annotate and on the document in real time, and you can also easily see who made the annotations by simply hovering over it or clicking on the icon on the top, on the bottom right hand corner to hide all the annotations that they've made. So it's a great way to see who really did what, whether one person did all the work or not. So that basically summarizes the Canvas integration that we just showcased. We had someone over on the chat mention, how much does this cost? If I'm a teacher, if I'm renewing this, or if I'm trying to use this for the first time, how much would this cost? So we have a teacher plan that's available. That's $99 per year, so $99 for 365 days. It covers you, your class, and all the students inside your classes. So we will provide you with a license key that you can share out to all the students, and they can simply get on to Cami, and once they're on Cami, you can go and use this integration in your class with the sort of external tool option that I showed. If you're a school or district, there are per seat pricing options available, and to get those pricing options, you just have to email us. We are available if you have any questions. I also should mention this integration is in beta, so there are some improvements that we're making on the way, especially when it comes to making audio, video, and screen capture annotations within the speed grader as a teacher. There are some fixes that we're making. We should be releasing some of these improvements over the coming weeks, so you should see it gradually improve and mature from out of beta. All right, so that's all we have for now. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you tuning in, and on to the next one.